Hi guys, so what are the main sites in Israel? I have to begin by saying that I don't like these must-see lists. It's your vacation, you can do whatever you want. There is only one must-see site in Israel, the old city of Jerusalem. Other than that, there are no must-see sites. But for those of you who are starting to plan your trip to Israel and want to know what Israel's main sites are, this video will let you get a quick idea of what Israel has to offer. So let's begin. My number one, as I said, is the old city of Jerusalem. Without a doubt, this is the most important site in Israel. If you were to write a list of the 10 most important places on earth, the old city of Jerusalem would be on that list. The old city of Jerusalem is tiny, only 1 square kilometer. But in this square kilometer, you will find the Western Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is the place where Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected, as well as Temple Mount and Dome of the Rock. On top of that, there are at least 50 churches, synagogues, and mosques within these walls. There is no other place in the world that contains so many holy sites. But beyond the city's sacred site, there are also a lot of historical and cultural things to see. Number two, Masada. Masada is located in the Judean desert. It's one of my favorite places in Israel, and not only mine. Masada is Israel's most visited pay-to-enter site, and with good reason. The views are just stunning. There are a lot of artifacts, and above all, a great story. 2 stories, in fact. The first concerned King Herod, a mad king who built a palace in the desert. And the second concerns the Jewish rebels who took over Masada and made it their last fortress. But Masada is more than just an archaeological site. It's a symbol, a disputed symbol of freedom versus extremism. My number 3 is the Dead Sea. You can read about Jerusalem or Masada on the internet, but floating in the Dead Sea is something you can only experience by going there and doing it. I just love it. I think that I'm the only tour guide who goes into the Dead Sea every time he's there with a group. One major advantage of the Dead Sea is that being the lowest place in the world, it has an extra 400 meters worth of air to filter radiation, making it the least dangerous place you can sunbath, but still, wear sunscreen. Masada and the Dead Sea are close to one another, and most people visit them both on the same day. You can take a day tour from Jerusalem or sleep in the Judean desert. I've made a few videos about how best to do it. My number 4 is Tel Aviv. The first thing you noticed about Tel Aviv is that it is not Jerusalem. Nowhere you will find 2 cities that are so geographically close, only 60 kilometers apart, yet so different from one another. But Tel Aviv is not just the antithesis of Jerusalem. Tel Aviv represents the modern, liberal, Western world-oriented side of Israel, and there is a lot to see and do there. The beaches, Ol Jaffa, Neve Tzedek, Sarona, and much more. The slogan of Tel Aviv is a city without a break. Now, of course, city slogan always attempt to portray a positive image of a city. In the case of Tel Aviv, surprisingly, it is very true. Now, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Masada, and the Dead Sea are the most important sites in Israel, and this is why my booklets, in which I basically wrote down everything I say on my guiding, are about these places. I will leave a link to purchase them below the video. My number 5 is the markets. Israel is much more than holy sites and lots of history. The people make Israel what it is. The thing is that if you go to all the historical and religious sites, you won't come across any locals. In general, Israelis don't spend their free time in Masada or inside the churches. The place to find Israelis and enjoy good food is the markets. Until 20 years ago, the markets were the place to go to when you wanted to buy cheap fruits and vegetables. But today there are restaurants, bars, cafes, and they are just a great place to see what Israelis are really like. Number 6, Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is the only freshwater lake in Israel, and lying at 200 meters below sea level, it is the lowest freshwater lake in the world. But the reason travelers visit the Sea of Galilee is not the lake itself, but rather the incredible history of the sites around it. There are so many prehistoric Jewish, Christian, and Zionist sites around the Sea of Galilee. The most visited sites are the churches around the northern part of the Sea of Galilee, Capernaum, Peter Premisi, and Tabcha. The Jewish sites are Tiberias and the Arbel Cliff. And around the southern part, you will find Kinneret and Ganya, the first kibbutzim. The thing I really like is that you are in open places surrounded by nature. Jerusalem can be too much. It's loud, crowded, and full of groups of tourists. And in the Galilee, you can take a more leisurely approach to discovering the area's history. Number 7, Mitzpe Ramon. The Negev covers half of Israel. There are lots of amazing places to see. Tzin Vadi, Ha'arava, Timna, the Eilat Mountains, the city of Eilat itself. I recently moved to a kibbutz in the Negev, so in the following months I will be making lots of videos about the desert. So please subscribe and give this video a like, it really helps. Anyway, the place I really like to recommend is Mitzpe Ramon, which is located right on the cliff of the Ramon crater. It is only 2 hours drive from Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, and although it gets very hot in summer, it is high up and dry, so the heat is bearable. There are lots of things to do there: hiking, jeep tours, mountain bike tours, stargazing, camel tours, and much, much more. You can get about using public transportation and choose from various accommodation options, from hostels to luxury hotels. So if I had to choose one place in the Negev, Mitzpe Ramon would be my pick. Number 8, the Israel Museum, because I have to have at least one museum on the list, and this is by far the most important museum in Israel. The Israel Museum in Jerusalem is where you will find all the important artifacts that have been found in Israel. In a way, it's a summary of all the important sites in Israel, all under one roof. There is so much to see: the Shrine of the Books, which holds the oldest Bible and scrolls in the world, a great archaeological section, a lot of Israeli and Jewish art, as well as masterpieces from all over the world. I highly recommend joining the free tours the museum offers because it is very easy to get lost in all there is to see. Number 9. The last place on my list is a place you will visit without even intending to, a place that you will go through whether you like it or not. You will even visit this place not once but twice, and I'm talking about the airport. As a tour guide, I'm obsessed with the question of what travelers in Israel like and don't like. I've talked to literally thousands of travelers, and I can honestly say that I almost never hear travelers say that standing in front of the Western Wall or visiting Masada was the highlight of the tour. It is almost never a specific site, but something bigger than they can really put their finger on. And if they can be specific, it almost always involves people and not sites. If people have a bad experience, then they can talk about it in the greatest details. And then I said, and then she said, and for that price I should have blah, blah, blah. But when the experience is good, it can be hard to explain it. So the airport, where you will start and finish your tour, is the last place on my list. As I said at the beginning of the video, I don't really like this must-see list, but I did notice that people who plan their trips enjoy it much more. But there is no real need to follow a checklist. If you want to learn more about Israel, the Israelis, and how to plan your trip, then do check out my site. I think you will really like it. There I answer many of the most common questions I get asked. Now, 10 years after the rest of the world, I've started my own Instagram account, so you can also follow me there. If you want me to make a specific video about a particular site, then please tell me in the comment section below. That's it. See you in the next video. Yalla bye.